everyone here on Stainedglasscuts. In this video, I'll be talking about things to consider as they pertain to hanging stained glass from some type of hook or nail. If you've been doing this a while, you've probably figured this out already, but bear with me. I have a couple of things you might find interesting. Our objective in hanging flat pieces of glass is to provide a stable position that maximizes backlighting. I'll not be covering how to hang glass pieces specifically designed to move, such as a mobile. I'll also not be covering hanging a piece of glass flat up against a window. I've done that, don't like the rattle, and I've never trusted suction cups. So things to consider: the number of connection points in your piece, their location and orientation, the number of hooks that your piece will hang from and their orientation, and the type of hanging material being used, its propensity to return to the same location, and whether there are one or two pieces of material. I've made a prop to demonstrate various connection point options: top single, top double, and side double. So your first decision: the number of connection points on your piece, their location and orientation. 2 connection points. 2 points on the top or corners of your piece will give you the most flexibility when hanging. However, as you can see with the loop, we still have a fair amount of movement because the amount of contact between the loop and the hook is so small. A trick I've learned that reduces this movement is to file a notch on the inside of the loop perpendicular to the loop. When I use plumber's chain, this virtually eliminates movement altogether. Now 2 connection points on the sides. They have the potential of obstructing the view of your piece in the corners. They can also end up tilting your piece. Using 2 hooks solves this problem. Now 1 connection point. It's always going to be on top and located to maximize the piece's presentation, but the orientation of the connection point, perpendicular or flat to your piece, can dictate the orientation of the hook you hang it from. Here my connection point is perpendicular to the piece. This can be a problem when using chain, as chain wants the connection point to be flat with the piece. The same is true for a loop of material. A trick I've learned is to add a loop to the end. This changes the orientation by 90 degrees. With a single connection point and plumber's chain and the notch, I really like how pieces hang in that they return to their position almost immediately. Your next decision: the number of hooks your piece will hang from and their orientation. 1 horizontal hook or nail with a single connection point, and you'll need to have your connection point oriented properly. This one is not. Also, if you're using a single strand of hanging material, it's very difficult to get your piece to hang where you want it and keep it there. However, 1 vertical hook with a single connection point gives you the ability to rotate the hook to achieve the best presentation regardless of the connection point orientation. 2 hooks, still the best, give you the most flexibility. Just be aware of placement when you're using side connection points. And last, the type of hanging material you use. If it's going to be a loop or just a single strand, whether it's one piece or 2 separate pieces, and its propensity to return to its original location. You have non-metallic choices like twisted string, braided string, ribbon, cord, leather, monofilament fishing line, etc. If you're going to use a single hanging hook and non-metallic hanging material, the wider material you use to hang your piece, the more your piece will stay in one spot. Other choices are metallic, chain with or without a loop, plumber's chain, which works best with flat connection points, and wire. Like a vertical hanging hook, it gives you the ability to twist the wire to set the orientation of your piece. I'll let you consider the aesthetics. So to summarize, 2 connection points with 2 hooks stabilize the orientation of a piece the best. The success of a single connection point is dependent upon the proper mix of connection point orientation, hanging hook orientation, and the type of hanging material used. Here's an example of what I've recently used. This piece has 2 side hooks. If I were to have hung it from a single hook, the hanging material would obscure part of the piece. So I used 2 vertical hanging hooks with continuous hanging material. The continuous hanging material allowed for the piece to be easily leveled. Also, because my hanging material is monofilament fishing line, it left the piece looking like it was floating. When using fishing line, it's important that the line test exceed the weight of the glass. Hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching. Cheers!